Hey guys, and welcome back to another brand new Attack on Titan video. And yeah, seems like my sore throat is actually getting kind of worse. I'm not very sure why, but yeah, again, I might going to have some voice crack in the middle of the video, so please don't mind that. But in today's video, we have a new Crunchyroll interview with Hajime Isayama, yes, the man himself, the mangaka of Attack on Titan. So yeah, in today's video, I'll just going to be going through the whole interview. It's going to be quite boring if you guys are not into interview that is related to Hajime Isayama and only care for part 3 news. That's on you, I guess. But yeah, I'm just going to straight away start with this one question. After the time skip and introduction of Marty, Eren disappears from the spotlight for some time. What was your intention in removing Eren from the narrative at that point in the story? Hajime Isayama says, it's actually something I've always wanted to do as a storyteller. First, we have no information about the characters that we've familiarized ourselves with and switch the perspective to the anime side, or who we thought was an enemy, and start to explore their perspective as well. And then just around the time we start to familiarize ourselves and sympathize, we introduce the main character as their enemies. How I would feel about it and how the audience will be feeling about it was kind of beyond of my control, but it was always something that I wanted to do and intended to do. And the next question that they have is, what do you imagine Eren would have done if he never joined the Survey Corps? If he never would have succeeded with the tampered ODM gear all those years ago, what kind of action would he take? Isayama says, I think Eren would have had a rotten life. He would have an unfulfilling life, to be honest, and being inside of Paradise, he'll probably have continued to be oppressed and possibly just a thing without anything he could do about it. Or he might have lived without knowing that his end was coming soon. He might have just continued to live the 13 years time limit. Basically, Eren's life would have been rotten if he didn't join the Survey Corps. So joining Survey Corps and actually exploring outside the world actually helps Eren a lot. And well, what we have now is what happened, I guess. So the Attack on Titan world is so vast, but what language do you imagine the character communicate in? And Isayama says, I think they would be speaking in what would be considered a universal language in the world. You know, a good comparison in real life would be English, but it has to do with the history of oppression and colonization. The strongest language would become the universal language in that world. Next up, we also have, at the beginning of Volume 5 in the side story Ilse Notebook, the Titan Ilse encounters is able to speak, which is uncommon for most Titans. Because of that, did that Titan have royal blood, or what was special about it? Isayama says, when I received that question, I thought that would have been a great plot. After the matter, it's a great idea. So they continue to ask, so will we find out in the future? Isayama says, so in the beginning, I was just starting to develop more the ideas of Titans. There are normal Titans and there are abnormal Titans. Considered normal Titan to be kind of like program beings, and then some of them will contain a glitch, almost like a defective item from a factory. That's as far as I thought about that Titan when I was writing the story. Next up, we also have this very important question, which can or may get misquoted by some part of the fandom. As you concluded the series, are there any aspects of the story you wish you could have changed? Isayama says, so I have a lot actually. Whenever I look back at the story that I wrote, I have so many things that I wish that I could have done differently. It's almost hard to name exactly what that was. Every time I look back on my stories, I'm always thinking about, remorse and regret is what I feel from looking back on my own story. Alright, a lot of people might going to be misquote this or something, but well, as far as we know, we don't really have anything that we can actually have a clear look at, because here he clearly says he have a lot of things that he wanted to change. And pretty sure in their Uprising arc during back after the Wit Studio season, he also said pretty much the same thing, and there's like quite major stuff that has been changed throughout the whole anime adaptation. So if this is going to be done in the final season as well, maybe there's going to be some changes in the last few episodes of Attack on Titan, the final season. Again, obviously this doesn't really confirming any AOE or whatsoever. Obviously, I am not going to be saying that it doesn't, because I'm going to be looking like a hypocrite, because everyone gonna goes like, oh my gosh, you're just going to deny AOE. Well, I mean, like, this doesn't confirm or deny AOE in any single form. So yeah, just don't want you guys to like actually misquote this and say that AOE is confirmed just because of this one particular line. So yeah, let's go on to the next one. How have you personally changed since volume 1? Isayama says, I had a great deal of trouble communicating with other people when I started writing the manga, and that was actually one of the drives of writing this story. But now I have become older and maybe more mature. I have become quite different from that time. Great for you, Isayama. Right, next up we also have, do you foresee any further spins off, or do you feel you've told us as much of the Attack on Titan story as you could? This is some kind of a, will you write more manga, please? And Isayama obviously he says, I have no plans for now. Let my man rest, man. Let my man rest for a while. Can we expect additional backstories for characters such as Hanji and the original members of Squad Levi? And Isayama actually says, regarding Levi, I actually have something in mind, but at the same time, I don't know if I will be able to write that or not. This is actually quite interesting. I would love to see more of what Isayama going to be writing about Levi, because I really want to see more of Levi's character, because he's kinda not shining that much in the final arc, unfortunately. So they ask, can I ask what you mean by that? Isayama says, for example, I have imagined what the story of Levi will be in my mind. But at the same time, whether I am able to output it, that's a whole other story, because writing a manga is a really difficult task for me. I mean, I understand. Next one, this is actually quite an important question as well. Was there a reason why you strayed from any direct romance themes within the Attack on Titan story? Isayama directly respond with, number 1, it was kinda embarrassing for me to write stories about love between characters. The other reason is that if I continue to go into those kinds of tangent stories, we might lose focus on the immediate main plot of the story. So I wasn't really motivated to go in that direction. Next up, we also have, you are a fan of horror movies like It Follows and Hereditary. Could we possibly expect a horror story to be published by you in the future? Isayama says, as a manga, maybe I wouldn't go into the realm of horror. However, I do enjoy films themselves, maybe as like a feature film, and that's a maybe. However, it's not like I would want to direct the film or anything. It's more like whenever I'm watching those films, I think to myself, I can make this story scarier. My man. Next up, we also have, you are a notable Game of Thrones fan. What did you think of the new House of the New Dragon series? Do you have favorite character? Isayama says, I watched all of the first season and really enjoy it. Even compared to the first season of the original Game of Thrones, it was well done. I like Aemon Targaryen. I think that character face looks really good as an actor. And they ask, and the finale? Isayama says, I was watching it with my wife and she's not really into about those gore scenes. So she was looking away. And so she asks, oh, what happened? And Isayama says, oh, you didn't watch? Here, let me rewind it for you. And his wife really goes like, oh, man. She got really mad at Isayama, by the way. And their last question goes like, then finally, to what extent did you draw from historical events when writing Attack on Titan, and how did it influence you as a creator? Isayama says, I think where there's a hint of truth, it makes a story very believable. So when I came up with the design of the worldview, for example, the worldview map, I kind of flip it from the real life world map to something similar but different. People will be able to understand the context without explaining everything. For example, the Eldian and Marlians, they are really kind of similar to what the Germanic people and Romans went through 2000 years ago. It's kind of the unsaid rules that I keep in my stories. Very, very interesting, not gonna lie. So yeah, those are basically it. I really hope you guys enjoy it. I'm just trying to not make this video any longer. So yeah, thank you very much for watching this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe and like, and I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.